Truth or dare?
Truth!
We survive this only if we trust each other.
Truth or dare?
There are a lot of horror movies in these days, and I think the main challenge is that every movie looks different from other of the same genre. That was the main challenge in this case with Truth or Dare?
I don't know if I was trying to make it look different than other things. I just sort of thought about what did I want it to look like. You know, I always approach movies as a fan, as an audience member, and I think, well, what would I want to see? What would be interesting to me? And the concept of Truth or Dare is so heightened, so surreal. I try to make sure all the other choices were very grounded. So I shot it in a very handheld style, so you kind of felt like you were a fly on the wall, and that this was really happening, and it wasn't too presentational. It was a little bit more observed. And again, that wasn't a reaction to other films. It was more of a result of a thought process about what would best serve this story.
Truth or dare?
There are a lot of deaths in the movie. How was the process to create each one of them?
It was fun. It's fun to plan how someone's gonna die, right? I mean, I have a great job, you know. My job is to sit around and to think how I want to kill people, and no one's ever gonna send me to jail for that, which is kind of amazing. No, it was a lot of fun. What I basically did with Chris and Jill, my co-screenwriters, is we just sort of kind of just brainstormed crazy ways people could die, or crazy dares, or truths that would lead to deaths, and we assigned them values, and then we ranked them, and we tried to weave them into the script, so we were always building that the next thing was more terrifying or outrageous than the last thing.
Carter said, tell the truth or you die. Do the dare or you die.
Refuse to play. You know what? Screw this. And you die.
And then once we had a script, I then got together with my stunt coordinator and my assistant director and my production designer and my DP, and we just started talking about, well, how do we execute these? Like, well, how are we gonna pull this off? And we started talking about, like, well, for the pen in the eye, you know, he'll have a CG pen when he raises his hand, but then when he turns, it'll be a prosthetic that's mounted on his face. And then when he approaches the wall, we'll put a pad on the wall, and it'll be a CG pen when he beats his face against the wall, and the pen goes. I mean, so you just break it down shot by shot, and you figure out the most effective, both from a storytelling and a cost standpoint, what's going to be the most effective, but then you also figure out what's going to be the safest. And then you come up with a plan and you execute it. And on a movie like this, there is no margin for error.
One interesting thing about the movie is that it's not just about the game. You try to put a mythology in the story. It was too hard to create that mythology?
No. I mean, look, we knew that the audience would want some kind of answer. I mean, there's other horror movies that influenced me when I made this film. It Follows is a fantastic movie. And what they do that's kind of interesting is you really never know what's going on or why it's happening. And while that works really well for that specific film, I felt for our film we need to offer a little bit more. And so I tried to come up with a mythology with my other writers that gave us enough of a hint of what might have happened before, but we didn't really lay it all out and explain it. Because if you explain everything, then you go the opposite direction of It Follows, where it's just not scary anymore. There's too much information.
How do we get out of this game alive?
You can't. It only ends when all the players are dead. And your turn's next.